This is Back of the House for Seeing. I'm Doug Trattner.
Brought to you by Bradley Stone Industries.
Buenos dias, Jenice.
Buenos dias, Doug.
Can you be so kind as to introduce yourself for everybody?
Jenice Contreras. I'm the president and CEO of the Hispanic Center for Economic Development, and I am the founder of CentroVilla25.
Can you tell us a little bit about that Hispanic Business Center? I mean, we're here, it's located here at CentroVilla, correct?
Absolutely. I think that's something that people are missing right now. They don't realize that we have offices upstairs. You come in and you see the market, and you almost forget that there's something else. So we are on the second floor of CentroVilla. It is our business center, it's our business innovation center, where we have programming for entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs to be able to get resourced and get all of that like technical knowledge that's necessary to make sure that we open and grow stable businesses throughout our city.
And you've been running that for a long, long time.
13 years.
After I parked the car and I was walking up here, I looked over there to a parking lot, and memories came back of these great events about a decade or so ago that I was in, La Placita. And I would walk around, and there would be food vendors I've never heard of in my life, and I would just explore and experiment. Was that kind of a foundation for where we are now with this whole CentroVilla?
Yeah,
25?
Absolutely. So, this work obviously started 13 years ago with really having an understanding that the Clark-Fulton neighborhood needed development, and it was calling for development and improvement, but a level of intentionality that it was for the people that were in this neighborhood, people like me that grew up in the Clark-Fulton neighborhood. And so I think that was really when we went to work around what does that look like? What does it look like when you develop a neighborhood for the people that are there at the time? And so as we were thinking about ideas, development is a long-term game, right? And nothing happens quickly. And so La Placita was our way to really bring a celebration to the neighborhood, to really help grow and scale that potential of what can happen. And while we were having a celebration with music and arts and culture, we were helping entrepreneurs really test. So it was definitely a testing ground for new entrepreneurs to figure out their products, figure out what worked, what could the market bear, how do you price? And so we were able to really provide that behind the scenes support and helping people test something without breaking the bank.
Yeah, proof of concept, right?
Absolutely.
I remember, watching many of those vendors go from selling at a very temporary pop-up stand to actually open a brick and mortar
Absolutely.
place.
Yeah, I know we did. And we also opened a place on Seymour and 25th called Las Tienditas del Mercado, so I don't know if you had a chance to go there. So that was also a more formal incubator because they were able to be there an entire year. So it wasn't just seasonal like La Placita was. And so there we were able to support 9 businesses. Some of those are still in business now. We had a coffee shop. We had a print shop that's currently Ortiz Graphic Designs in the Brooklyn neighborhood. And so we were able to have a lot of success from that too, from taking it from a pop-up summer to an incubator to eventually CentroVilla25.
So before the camera switched on, you and I were talking about personal travels. We both love to travel.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite things when I'm traveling anywhere in the States or elsewhere is to find great food halls and markets. Cleveland hasn't had much success in that department. A few have popped up and fizzled out. You somehow, landed on a great formula.
Yeah.
It's fun, it's festive, it's busy, it's got a good variety. What are the kind of components to a great food hall? And I know you're more than just a food hall here, and we'll talk about that, but about being a great food hall.
Yeah, I mean, I think what the secret sauce is, if I could say that analogy, is really the authenticity of what it is. When I was trying to come up with solutions around how to support business owners in the Clark-Fulton neighborhood, infrastructure was an issue, right? So there weren't white box spaces for us to just pop in businesses. I ended up going to a place in Minneapolis and visiting a market there. And it was a Latino-based market, and it was a very similar story. It was immigrant entrepreneurs and a really, advocate councilwoman who was helping them in the city, provided a building, and they created this nice organic ethnic market called Mercado Central. And so that was kind of where my love for markets started. And came home and said, hey, I have buildings, and West 25th had old manufacturing facilities like this one. They were underutilized or completely vacant, and I had entrepreneurs, and so I'm like, if we put them all under one space, but really then did my homework around ethnic markets. And so I think there's a difference between a food hall and an ethnic market.
Food halls bring in outsiders hoping to kind of try, so maybe something famous they haven't been to the restaurant. This is really for from people in the neighborhood, for people in the neighborhood?
Absolutely. And I think the difference too is, you come, you try out a food hall and it was a great burger, okay, that's fine. But then are you gonna have the recurring visitation that you need versus an ethnic market? Then you're going there because you need that delicious Cuban food, or you need a spice, or you need something that's very particular to that. And so really learned the secret sauce to ethnic markets, being really drivers of hyper-local economies, right? Of folks that maybe couldn't participate in the markets that had all the bells and whistles. And so they kind of just created their own. And so really understanding how big of an economic driver these more smaller, authentic markets have become in driving markets in our country.
And how many different food concepts do we have right now?
Right now we have 8 vendors on our food side of the market. So we call it Mercado Verde, green because obviously food, but also our roof is painted green. And so we have 8 spots for food. 6 of them are hooded, 2 of them are not. So on the non-hooded, we obviously have our cafe. So we have Café Roig, this coffee that's brought from Puerto Rico. And then we have a spot where we're going to be opening an ice cream shop, ice cream custom made shop in that space. And then the other 6 food vendors are representative of Venezuela, El Salvador, Mexico, República Dominicana, Cuba, and Puerto Rico.
Amazing. That's good for it. Now, I know we were talking earlier about kind of using La Placita was a great incubator for small businesses, maybe folks who are working, what we say cottage businesses working out of home.
Yeah.
That's not the intention here. This is not an incubator space. You don't expect these people to gain a following and move out and open a restaurant?
We definitely want them to grow. And so I say it's not an incubator because typically incubators are 1 year and then you're so focused on opening your incubator that you got to move on. These folks are beyond the incubation. Their initial commitment is 3 years. So it's kind of a longer haul. With food businesses specifically, it takes time, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen year 1, year 2, year 3, you're even figuring it out, right? If you're onto
especially in a place
something.
like this when you're you've got a great place right next door and right next door again, and
yeah,
right here.
yeah. So 3 years is the initial commitment. After 3 years, if they want to stay for another 3 years, they can. If they've outgrown the space, which I think it's going to happen, we see it already with some of our vendors, they'll outgrow, they want to open up their own restaurant, they want to move on. We're happy to support that too. I think we'll end up with a healthy mix of some that just become anchors and always here, and some that rotate.
Sure.
And so I think that's what we're looking forward to. The reality is, since we've opened, our 6 vendors have been strong. We haven't had any turnover. And if turnover happens, we will support that and figure it out, and obviously would create space for somebody else.
So I remember you guys last time I was here, you were building out a commercial kitchen, which is different from that. Is that something that folks can use, kind of who are making, maybe say they want to be a home-based business or something, but they don't have enough space at home?
Absolutely.
How does that work?
Yeah. So our commercial kitchen program runs 24/7. So we're cooking something all the time. We have 2 separate kitchens that we could rent. So could have more than 1 vendor at the time. And you could rent it by the hour. You do your products in-house and then you're able to take it. So it's ideal for food trucks. It's ideal for bakers, for caterers that need access to a full-size kitchen. And we really try to make it easy in being able to provide that space to grow your food enterprise, which would be really hard to do as a cottage business and expensive. Kitchens are very expensive.
And all the legislative stuff and the HACCP plans and the food safety and sanitation.
Oh, it's a lot, yeah. So we want to take all of that administrative work out of it. We've obviously have invested in the equipment. The commercial kitchen was the most expensive part of this facility. I really wanted 3 kitchens and ran out of money, so we did 2 kitchens. But I think that was the intentionality of being able to provide access. We also have other commercial kitchens in town, but not enough.
Yeah.
And so we just saw that as a barrier, again, for folks really looking to start and grow their food enterprise.
I think there would be a wonderful opportunity, and I'm sure I'm not telling you something you don't already know, but for a retail store where I can come and shop for the ingredients that I might want to prepare this food at home. Is that in the plans at all?
It is definitely, yeah. We have a space that's kind of in the back of Mercado Rosa, and so the intent was to be able to have almost like a specialty bodega style space. So that's definitely still in the works. So I think we still have some surprises to come. So we're
Fresh
I want to be
tortillas.
done with construction, but I feel like there's always something else we could be doing. So.
Do you keep track of demographics of the folks who are coming here and shopping and eating? I'm curious, how many folks are from the neighborhood? How many are coming from out of the neighborhood? How many coming from even further afield?
Yeah, so we are just starting to track some of that data. So we actually installed door counters and are able to track, just learning how much information is available just from cellular signals
Sure.
of who comes in. And then obviously our POS system
Right.
tracks expenditures and zip codes.
Zip codes.
So we're really starting to gather some of that data. Qualitatively, I think we have a healthy mix of folks that come to CentroVilla because they're looking for this ethnic experience, or they have a favorite restaurant, or I love the people that come in and we're like, hey, I visited, this place and Venezuela's food reminds me of it, or, that it kind of takes you to a place. And then folks from the neighborhood and the community, right, that have their favorite or whatever country represents them. When you create something new, you kind of have a vision and a hope. I think CentroVilla is kind of far exceeding what that because I'm seeing it materialize itself in ways that were beyond my
Well, and
imagination.
it's so much more than just a food hall, and I don't even mean the retail. I mean the way folks use it, right? As we've been
Absolutely.
sitting here, I've been seeing it fill up and fill up,
Oh, yeah.
and maybe they're not eating at all. Maybe
Yeah,
they're having a cup of
yeah.
coffee. They're having obviously a
Absolutely,
meeting or
Yeah.
an interview or something. So it's really become a community gathering space, a third space. As they say.
Absolutely. We are hosting all kinds of events, right? So we've started an events business that was not in my original plan. We knew we would have some gatherings, but the amount of gatherings we're having, our nonprofit colleagues have hosted fundraisers here. We're actually the Hebrew Free Loan Association for the second year is holding their annual event here, Collective Impact, later on this month. We've hosted events for up to 300 people, again, on large receptions, small receptions. We've hosted weddings.
I was going to say,
We've hosted weddings, we've hosted birthday parties, baby showers, I mean, you name it.
Quinceañera.
So I think it's just, it's also that element like people want different spaces. I think we're done with the stuffy, ballroom type of places, and I mean, you can't beat the food, right? So we definitely always have the food, and it's been pretty heartwarming how the community has accepted it, and also watching people gather informally. Like we tell people, if you have a party of less than 20, move the tables around, bring people together, you know what I mean? Like make it your space. You don't need some long process on reserving, a table. So we really want the community to feel like this is for them, and we want everybody that comes in here to find something that's their thing.
So I grew up knowing this neighborhood as Clark-Fulton. Many people know it as Clark-Fulton. I've seen you refer to it as Livia Hispanic.
Yes.
Can you explain kind of what the branding behind that means and what you hope kind of that does?
Yeah, Doug, I say this often. I'm sure Clark and Fulton were great guys, but it doesn't really say much about our neighborhood and the people that live here and the people that grew up in this neighborhood. And so I think we need to honor the legacy of Mr. Clark and Mr. Fulton. But I really think the neighborhood deserves to have an identity that's really reflective of the people that are here. And so when a lot of this planning was happening over a decade ago, La Villa Hispana had been a name that the Latino community had used over different decades in trying to plant our stake in the ground in the Cleveland community. And while the Latino community has a long history in Cleveland and Northeast Ohio, we really didn't have that place or that neighborhood or that centric place. Lots of things: gentrification, displacement, job force movements, right? And so we've had that natural trajectory. And so recognizing that this neighborhood has such a large density of Latino residents, it makes sense that we use that. And so we dusted that name off and have often referred to it in planning documents as La Villa Hispana or Hispanic Village. And so whether that ends up being the name of the neighborhood or the community decides it needs to be something else, I am totally pushing for efforts to really rebrand the neighborhood for something that is really representative. And you go to other cities, we talked about traveling, and you could always find the ethnic neighborhoods.
You don't have to even leave Cleveland.
How does that sound to say, we have a Latino neighborhood, it's called Clark-Fulton. How does that sound, right? So
Exactly.
I think we really have a branding issue, and it's definitely on the top list. I know Councilwoman Santana is very committed to that. Metro West, our community development organization, is committed, as are we, to really, in the upcoming months, if not a year, to really work on an exercise to work on our brand identity.
So you just passed the 1 year mark this spring,
Good.
right?
We sure
And
did.
since the last time I was here, I saw some new things kind of bubbling up. Something that looks like a bar or restaurant over there. I saw the beautiful new patio that you guys were working on last year. Seems finished. What's going on now? What could folks look forward to?
Yeah, so this summer, obviously the biggest thing is our outdoor plaza. And so as you recognize, La Placita was a brand that we worked on in this development. And so we decided to bring La Placita to CentroVilla. So Saturdays and Sundays of June and July, we have the garage doors open. We have additional vendors. So we're providing other vendors the opportunity to participate. Clean Foundation has been a great sponsor of La Placita this year, along with Metro Health, who has been a sponsor of Placita for the last decade, and really bringing programming, arts and culture, life entertainment, and an additional dynamic to really leveraging our outsourced space. Obviously, we love to be outdoors as much as we can, and so we've created this amazing plaza for folks to be able to gather and celebrate, and we're still gonna do a little business. We are also the bar, so one of the things that we were missing here is definitely mojitos. It is for me. Ever since we were thinking about this project, we needed to have some good mojitos, which is hard to find in Cleveland.
Yep.
Really good. You probably have some ideas where to get really good mojitos, but definitely want to be able to find some of those flavors that we find when we're traveling right here, especially Latin infused. And so in the next month or so, we'll be opening La Barra Vieja, which is the name of that bar that will be in CentroVilla.
Amazing. And then longer range plans. I mean, are there still things that you really hope to kind of add and activate here?
Yeah.
Folks, things that they can look forward to even further down the road?
Yeah, visiting Mercado Rosa, which is where we're sitting right now. So currently we have 5 retail businesses. We have a jewelry shop, we have a cigar shop, we have Vintage and Vinyl, which is a collectibles and gift shop. And then we also have a promotional items where they print t-shirts and so forth. And so really continuing the activation of Mercado Rosa. Our retail business is a little bit harder than food, right? Everybody has to eat, not everybody has to shop. And so making sure that we're able to support the vendors within Mercado Rosa and create dynamic experiences. So we are looking at doing more like art walks and things that people, like, again, you can make, the paint and sips and other dynamic activities to really infuse activation of Mercado Rosa is really on the top of our list. And we want to continue to host parties and events and just really for everything, and really, again, making sure that the community knows that this is for them, and it was built with a whole lot of intentionality around community building.
It's amazing. So I know that you started working on this in your head. Was it more than 12 years ago, 13 years ago, 14 years
I mean,
ago?
definitely as I came here, I think the actual work was a decade's worth of just building a building. Like, people told me it takes a long time, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm gonna do this in 5 years and whip it into shape and go. It takes a long time, so I think 10 years is definitely the timestamp around getting CentroVilla from concept to opening our doors. Now it's just a whole different phase, right? On the activation of the space and making sure that we have the traffic, that the vendors have the support they need to continue to grow their success. And we have other ideas of things that we want to continue to do in the neighborhood. So we want CentroVilla to be the beginning of creating an entire district. So I want to go from CentroVilla the building to CentroVilla the district.
It's the corazón.
El corazón. You got it.
Well, congratulations to you, because you really have. I mean, I know you've been working so hard at this for so long, and I know you opened last year, but it's been fun to even watch it after the doors open and watch it just kind of just bloom and flourish, and I love it, and I know so many people love it.
Yeah, no, thank you, and thank you for telling the story, right? Thank you for keeping up with us for so many years, because it truly has been a journey, and it continues.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.